Welcome to 3 on the Ones and Twos with your hosts, Tom, Cassie, and James. Just 3 old friends talking about their favorite records. Think of it as the coolest booklet for music nerds.
Dance Craze.
Where were we? Oh, that's right.
You were doing record company.
Yeah, sorry about that. Again, thanks a lot, Tony.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
AKA
Yes.
Casey Yarborough. Too many shots to Jameson, but it's okay. Part 2 with Timo. I love getting your perspective on this. Thank you so much.
I like that you want my perspective. It's nice to feel loved.
James is probably my favorite music fan I've met in this life. He's going to show us some stuff that he's got in his I guess.
You're like the encyclopedia, right?
Yeah, in teenage years, maybe early 20s.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was into, punk music or whatever, but punk started getting very negative, and ska was this, my friend Miles Peterkin had on his wall, he had the Specials album, he had the Selector Too Much Pressure album, and it was he had the Madness One Step Beyond album.
Love that
I'm
cover, yeah.
15 years old, I'm like, what is this? It looks so different.
Sounds like a good friend.
From everything.
Sounds like a great friend.
He was the guy.
And he's
who was
skank for positive.
What is
positivity?
This?
Yes,
And eventually, I started getting into the two-tone bands as a 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And then we started as a high school. It was this weird alternative to the sort of more angry punk music that we were listening to.
It was a nice call, response to.
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air.
I certainly was angry in some of my teenage years.
Yeah.
But I also was searching for a posive answer in some of my teenage years. Thank you to your friend. He's a good friend.
To Miles, this was
Miles.
This was this was during kind of the grunge movement and whatever, and there was a lot of slam dancing, there's a lot of stage diving and whatever. And when you talk about going to Supernova and there's no bouncers and everything's super positive, that's what we really love that.
Yeah.
The group I went to Supernova with, I think I met 3 of them in person in my life. There was a girl, Tara, who wanted to start this Facebook meeting group for people she was going to meet at Supernova because she was going by herself.
That's so nice.
COVID hit.
Yeah.
We met every Thursday throughout the entire pandemic.
Just Zoom calls and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and so I actually had an Airbnb with all these people I'd never met.
Yep.
We had our whole group there, everybody watching out for one another,
wow.
and we're still meeting every Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, I think I called you the other night. You were on a Zoom call, people, and you're like, "Hey, so and so from Washington D.C. says hi, Tom. He knows you. That's amazing.
And I was in. That was a very I know the mosquitoes are on.
Yeah, no, the mosquitoes are hot tonight.
But it was, I think the kind of ska scene of the 90s was very positive, and it was a breath of fresh air. And although I was in a band, we started a ska band called the Ghost Eddies in Atlanta.
I opened up for you guys a couple times.
Yeah, and we had Jesse Lorcella, who had just moved down from New York. And he came from the Manhattan, New York moon ska scene. He was
great from him.
He was at the NYC ska live album, the Moon Records scene. All
he
that.
was a great from him.
And he brought that in, and we just latched onto him. We were like, this is what we want to do, and we were able to rent Dance Craze from Blockbuster Video or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned my mind inside out, and I actually bought this. It says $10.99. I bought the VHS of Dance Craze.
This is so great. If you watch this on YouTube, because that's the only place you can find it now. If you watch this on YouTube, it actually has the same pops and cracks.
Yeah.
It's
It's really a travesty that this album is not on DVD or
it should be,
in some sort
or the movie, yeah.
You know. And then I went in, so I got this, and it turned our minds inside out. We were like, this is unbelievable. This is the energy and the positivity that we wanted in this time, And so I got really into it, and I got the let's see, I cleaned out the attic the other night, or yesterday actually, and so I got the Ska Beats VHS.
Body Snatchers.
This is all.
Can I see who's on it?
Yeah, it's the same. It's all outtakes from Dance Craze.
Oh,
So
really?
it's other songs.
Well, in
that
big
were
letters, I
recorded.
see Body Snatchers, Cassie,
Well, yeah, I
so
see
you'll
It's a
be
total
happy.
bootleg. And then I got a specials. I got this at like a record fair or whatever. But this is like
Why
all of
haven't
the
you
specials.
transferred those to?
I've transferred them to DVD.
Okay.
But
Emma?
I'll make a copy for you. A lot of this stuff is on YouTube or whatever, but I don't know if I've done that one. But this has all of the specials videos that they made, as well as their Saturday Night Live
Oh,
performance
wow.
from
Nice.
1979, where they played
That's huge.
Gangsters and Too Much Too Young.
Have you seen specials? Have you seen specials?
I've
Well,
not seen this.
I only see this because
I've opened
In the
I've
modern
opened up
era,
for the
you mean?
specials
Well, 'cause
at the
no-
40 Watt in
'cause-
Athens, Georgia, with the Scats and smoked a
I've-
joint with
well,
them
what-
in September
with
10th,
Terry Hall,
1996.
5 years ago, we went to San Francisco because the specials with Terry Hall weren't coming here, so we went.
I saw the specials in
It was actually
99.
like a few days short of 5 years ago.
But it was not the original, all the original members.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
That's
when
the
they were
problem.
I don't
That's
think
the
Jerry
challenge.
Dammers has been in any of the.
Yeah, Jerry.
He's been in MIA
hasn't
for a long
been part
time.
of the
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Now,
saw-
I need story about the specials though. At the second Supernova, I met a guy, Adam Fillmore Birch, who played horn for them in that era in the late 90s.
Cool.
And it was Supernova. The second one, he had such a good time. He actually got back into music and now has Adam and the Versions, which put on a
Nice.
great show on this last Supernova. But I was looking at one of the old albums when we were on a road trip, my wife and I'm like, I think I met Adam already.
Right.
And when they came through Columbus, I was a manager of a ska band called Fenster, and we were backstage playing pool with them. And so I messaged him like, he's like, yeah, that would have been so and so and so and so you're playing pool with, but I'm sure we actually hung out and had a beer. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. And he got back into music because
Yeah.
of it, which is very, very
And
cool.
it's a great project what he's doing.
Oh, that's cool,
Adam
man.
and the Version. So check it out.
One of the first shows that the Ghost Days played, I was probably 16 years old, and we played at the Masquerade in Heaven with the Special Beat, and
Nice.
it wasn't Terry Hall, but it was a
No.
combination of
Yeah, the
like,
specials in the beat.
Ranking Roger was playing
Mm-hmm.
with Neville Staples. Basically, Ranking Roger and Neville Staples
That's
were the
awesome.
two front men.
Yeah.
Linville Goling was playing guitar. You had, I think, it was a mishmash of the English beat. Dave Wakeling wasn't there, but it was
It's like
a
Rowdy
mishmash.
Radiation, like everyone but
Roddy wasn't there. That was the interesting thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, we played with them. We had no business playing with them. Like we were like
They're so good,
high
so
school
pro,
kids.
yeah.
We were-
What year was
mess.
this?
You
gotta
again?
start
What was this
somewhere,
year
buddy.
again?
Yeah.
I know.
I think it's great that you got the opportunity. It's good, man.
It was 1992, I believe.
Yeah.
And they came, I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, we got off stage, and it was one of those things where we were loading out, and we heard Concrete Jungle start. And we were
And
like,
those drums are so
oh
insane.
my God,
yeah.
we're at the Masquerade.
You're
at
loading
the
out.
elevator
Yeah.
coming down.
Where you can
and we
feel the
hear
floor
the,
moving when-
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
And the
dun,
drums
dun,
to that
dun,
song,
and we're
you're like, we gotta run
Such an
upstairs.
amazing
Oh, we gotta
song.
go
We gotta
up.
run
Such an
upstairs,
amazing
yeah.
song.
And they were able to play all the best like special songs and all the best English beat songs, and it was unbelievable.
And
As like a 16-year-old,
I
completely-
believe that.
changed my brain.
Well, I'm older than you, so when I saw the International Ska Festival in Berkeley,
Yeah.
which was like '90, I believe the Special Beat played, and I was like
Around the same
18.
age.
Well, I was like 18. So it was a couple years later. You're like 4 years younger than me,
Yeah.
baby. So
Yeah, but pretty close to the full band did come through the Masquerade in '94, and I saw them.
yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that
Yeah, I
show
was at
too.
that show, yeah,
And
you know.
I
And I
have
didn't go to that
actually the
I thought you
Or
went
was
with
that
me.
the show we?
I have
We
one of
may
the
have
shirts.
met. We may have met.
Of
Yes.
The
yes.
Skavu V
So cool.
Special Beat Scatolites Selector and Toasters, and you got the like.
Yeah, the date. Oh, the
look at how
cities.
yellow it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
sure.
we're
Wow. That's awesome.
yeah, Atlanta right there. Anyway, that was the only time I saw the Selector was here, and it was.
I have
it was
never
cool.
seen the
I've never seen the
Selector.
Selector either.
And I can honestly say that, like, I mean, I've always kind of had like a little crush on
should.
Pauline
We
Black
all
just
do,
because
yeah.
she's such a.
She's
like,
a badass.
just-
She's a
but,
badass,
But then
yeah.
after what, and I'm sure I probably saw the Dance Craze movie way back when I was first getting in, into ska, like in the late 80s, early 90s. But it was late 80s. But after watching the movie again, like it just like it solidified it. Because I kept telling Greg, I was just like, look it. Like she has so much style, and she has so much, and
beautiful,
like the way she can
style,
she can hit high notes and still sound so tough. Like
at one point, the East Atlanta Strut, we had Sammy K came and played.
Love
a bunch
Sammy
of different bands, but Sammy K came with a band and not just his solo stuff and played. And all these people were dancing.
But they didn't know who he was.
None of them were ska fans.
No one knew who he was.
And I actually turned them over. This is actually part of my radio show.
And Sammy K is amazing.
My phrase is, everybody loves ska. Some people just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
You just got to get in front of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right now, Simmer Down's playing, and I'm talking to you like this.
Yeah, I would see, when I see the Toasters in the modern era, like I'll go see them at the Star Bar, or I'll go see them wherever. And when I look at the crowd, is like, there's a few of us who are like, yes, we know who the Toasters are, but then there's a lot of people who are just there.
They're just Star Bar regulars.
This is party music. Like we're just having a good time.
I hope it brings people in. Like
I think it does.
Hopefully it brings people in where they like listen to third wave ska, and then they like go back and they like see how it was influenced by
second wave.
That's
what happened to me.
by
I love the way,
and then go back and really get into like the Desmond Decker, who will always be my absolute favorite.
Prince Buster. I mean, all of that is. I mean, Desmond Decker. Toots Hibbert might be my favorite singer. Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, and Toots Hibbert might be my three favorite singers.
One of my favorite singers is actually Tom Cheshire. Whether you believe it or not. I'm not just saying that, dude. Seriously.
Right.
Well, you know who taught me how to sing? Steve Jackson.
I know.
Steve Jackson taught me how to sing.
I'm saying this on camera.
Yeah.
The first time that I went to the first Supernova when the Pie Tasters played, and then I actually got to meet Steve.
Thanks to my brother Steve. Yeah.
Got to meet Steve for the first time. I said, we need to take a selfie and send it to Tom.
Yeah.
That's where the whole thing of taking selfies with all your friends around the world came from.
Exactly.
But then I saw them play, and I'm watching Steve on stage, and I'm like, that's Tom.
Yeah.
You could switch it, and I can't tell. It's the same person. Mannerisms, motions, everything they do.
He's been very good to me. He's taken me all over the world, and he's such a funny, wicked funny guy. Oh my gosh. And how he balances his life, married to a lawyer, dad of 2 wonderful daughters, runs a business, and still opened up for James Brown. They were James Brown's backing band, and he toured with Joe Strummer for 5 weeks. And it was very good to me, Now, listen, man, we like happy music. We like dancing.
Well, on that same level, like you talked a little bit earlier about some of these two-tone bands were overtly political, and very good messages.
Which they
should. Political messages.
Racism is bad.
But so was a lot of original Jamaican ska. Original Jamaican ska like hit on it.
But think about the average kid in the suburbs isn't going to get 60s ska, but they're going to get.
But I think
exactly. No, it's like
when you think about like the Specials being the Coventry Automatics. Like
they
touring with the Clash,
big time.
They
as
did.
like connecting as like a ska band to late 70s UK punk.
Yeah.
And the
Imagine going to see the Clash and the opening bands of Grandmaster Flash and the Specials.
Well, it was
that's amazing. That is amazing.
Most of that tour was Suicide.
Right,
but
in
then,
the United States.
Suicide opened up as well.
No, also in England. But then but Specials opened for Suicide on several or like a handful of them, and Suicide wasn't involved in a couple that they played. But the weird thing is, if you look at how they were billed, like it's the Coventry Automatics, the Coventry Specials, the Special AKA, even before they were actually the Special AKA. It's like, it's really interesting. I think the whole thing about, I could talk about ska forever, because like the whole thing about ska is so, it covers everything. It covers so many years.
We're keeping this a two-parter, Cassie. You need to calm down.
I know, we need like
what's the show you got?
I'm circling back to my point though with political.
Please do.
If you look at some of like even, everybody laughs, Real Big Fish, they're goofy. Some of their songs are outright depressing.
Yes.
But when you hear it and it's about serious stuff, you're still dancing and moving and having a good time because ska just does that.
It's like that.
And you want to know something? I used to put down I'm trying to choose awesome and be the best man I can be these days in my life.
always
And you know, but there's been times I quickly insulted other people. First of all, anyone who starts a band and gets on stage deserves our applause. That's hard to do. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Whether it's kind of music we like or not. But you want to know something? Who are we to judge? Like, just because I love like the Clash or the Sex Pistols or Suicide, whatever, who are we to judge if a kid listens to a pop punk band now and through them they discover the bands that we love?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's all family, it's all beautiful. So basically, I love everybody, and I
just
love all of it. You know.
I love everybody, unless they're jerks. But I especially love people.
Well, if you're not good, we don't want you around. If you're not a good person.
I especially connect with people that really like do have a deep connection with music. Like
Yes.
the music's really important.
Yes. What's the shirt you got, buddy?
All right, so I brought my
Another shirt.
my lovely wife, Sue Joyce.
Big fan.
Who
Hey,
was-
Sue.
Sue is
was
awesome.
On a previous episode about idols,
Love
Speaking of
Idols.
badass.
Great band.
but she was like, we're gonna clean out the attic this weekend. So I had to sweat all yesterday just in the attic, like dumping stuff and getting rid of stuff,
Yeah.
whatever. But I have bins of t-shirts. So I got like, here's my old English Beat t-shirt.
Oh my God, it's one of those. It's one of those with like the
Dude,
pink and
that's
stuff. That is cool.
awesome.
That's definitely original. Old school.
Well, I bought, these are all like, I mean, technically bootleg shirts,
but they're not
all
though.
like,
It's old though.
I mean,
But
I
he got
bought
it
them
in Jumpman's
at,
Daughter 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I did.
Exactly,
All
yeah,
of
exactly.
these are from Little 5 Points when I was 15, 16 years
Yeah.
old.
And they were 10,
like
15
the-
years old when you got them. Like
Princess
yeah,
Pamela's, whatever, you know, English Beat. I wore this, I went to a ska fest in DC. I saw the Skunks
Oh,
when I
love it.
was 16,
Yeah,
17.
shout out to Joe
me and-
again, and our friend Tim Carnes, who plays
Yeah.
bass, and all the guys in the Toasters and the Skunks.
I went to
Yeah.
a ska fest at the Wilson Center in DC,
Mm-hmm.
which is a classic punk venue where all the like DC bands
Yeah.
played, and I remember wearing this shirt
Yeah.
at it, and I thought there was going to be a riot because there's a lot of Oi bands
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
And we talk about like how positive everything is, but also when
There
you
was,
have the Oi
well-
bands, it could get a little dicey.
And there's
Don't
still
sit on the
greatness,
wrong
but it's some of the
cars.
fans. So
Yeah.
yeah. So actually, I was going to say, Cassie and I have narrowed it down to both are great nights, but we don't remember when we met. But we know it was either at a special show or a Bad Brain show.
Yeah.
But either one, that's great. You know.
Here's my
I love this
my
one.
Too Much Pressure
That Cassie, look at that.
selector shirt.
Oh my God. What I love about this, well, besides the fact that I
That's
love
Pauline
the shirt,
Black.
that will. No, it's not.
And we
Pauline Black,
we
just
always
as-
bought
just
extra
as Charlie
larges,
Chaplin,
so
yeah.
I can wear them now. Like they're form fitting. You
And-
know, when I was a kid, they were all baggy or whatever.
No, but what I love about it is like you can actually tell when you buy when like one of the white shirts that you bought is actually like from one of the early shows because they all got this yellow thing. Like
that's
this
the
like
sweat.
yellow.
That's
Yeah.
the Joyce Attic.
No, no,
That's
no.
the Joyce Attic.
Right. And then we have
Oh, I love
finally
it.
the specials.
but, like-
That's the OG.
classic,
That's the OG right
nice.
there. Yeah,
Um,
I need that one. I think I
think
had
it
that
was-
one at one point.
Well, no, because I was going to say because you were talking about like, I think you mentioned how you wouldn't think like certain crowds of certain bands would
Right.
get along, but it was like so interesting. I think it was the Specials who like the Go-Go's sung backup and Chrissy
Sure.
Hynde sung backup on their second
I believe
album,
it.
and I believe they're the ones that toured with. I think they might have been the ones that toured with like David Bowie.
They may.
I
Well,
like-
this is the thing. I
but
mean,
listen,
it's
but-
all about moving forward.
No, but
and
like-
it's all the same if you allow it to be the same.
But do you remember when, I don't know if it was the Specials or one of these bands like toured with like David Bowie and like Talking Heads and
It was all very fluid at that point,
I mean, I
but,
think
yeah.
that's really, and speaking of like just like like music that just makes you happy and just feels inclusive, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the thing is like these bands would play with those bands.
And they did a lot. They
now
did a
it's,
lot
like,
for new.
so
They did a
much-
lot for new wave.
But
They
now-
both did a lot for each other. They
but
really
now
did.
it seems so much that, you like the opening band and the middle band, like even if they're not the same genre, they're at least genres that kind of complement each other. It's not so
this,
which I think is awesome.
I think it's all awesome, and I think this two-parter, we're making giant steps, John Coltrane. We're making giant steps today. We have Timo on as a guest, but really not. He's a friend, and we basically said we're going to talk about this record. Luckily, he's such a great team player, and he loves this music. It's great to talk about.
And we could talk
2,
about
it's not really
Yes,
it's not really a record. It's a comp. 3, it's live music.
It is.
4, you've already said so many things that have like made me put sticky notes in my brain.
Yeah.
I love all the segues. We kind of want to talk about this letter. We're going to get to in a minute regarding the future of where this is going. I'm going to let James handle the rest of it, but we want your opinion on some of this stuff. You know.
Well, maybe just as a quick thing, how many of you seen which of these bands have you seen live, like in some configuration?
So I've opened up for the specials. Like I said, I smoked a joint with them. I've shared the stage with them.
I've seen
You've seen the specials,
but you didn't do that. What you meant is.
So I just have to say that.
And
I'm kidding.
I've seen the beat.
I'm kidding.
And I've seen versions of the English beat in General Public. I've seen the Selector. I would love to see Bad Manners, especially after hearing Timo saying, dude's jumping around, because I know he's amazing. Lip Up Fatty is one of my favorite songs.
Buster Blood Vessels.
Amazing.
Yes,
I
it
mean, Madness is just a band that they're
Madness
like the
is
Beatles. They're like the Beatles.
You're the only one of those 4
I
that's seen
thought I
Madness.
was going to die with never been able to see them
Yeah.
You know they're coming to the United States
for the first time in like forever.
And the first time since the 80s.
But do you
Wait,
know why?
when?
Do you
So
know
we're
why
gonna-
do you know I'm not just
When?
Jones to really go? Because I've seen them. If it works out, I'll go.
But I have not seen them.
Well,
So
shut
please
up,
tell
Timo.
me
That's
when
not
they're
cool.
playing around or anywhere.
They're
Yeah,
not
well,
playing anywhere
They'll
around.
be,
I
they'll
will
probably be
fly.
doing New York, Chicago, New Orleans, LA.
I'll
Yes.
fly to
Yeah.
Chicago. I have friends in
I'll go.
Chicago.
I'll go
Shout out
with
to
you, yeah.
Violet.
Yeah, they'll do the coasts.
Well, I always heard, even in the 90s, they would want like a 6-figure guarantee.
Yeah.
So there was no way they were going to come to Atlanta.
So which ones have you seen? Like, just to break it down real quick, because we get your.
I've seen everyone but Body Snatchers and Bad Manners.
Okay,
And,
and
and,
you?
and
None
Madness.
of us have seen the Body Snatchers. I can
I
guarantee.
have not seen the bodies.
No,
'Cause they never played
they were
it,
well. They were
They
only
were-
together for like I think like 2 years, and then never really put out a full length.
Well, I think
album.
we all decided we're going to take a road trip. We're taking Timo, I'll buy you a ticket,
All right.
and Megs, and we're going to go see Madness
We're
again.
gonna go see Madness again, honey.
It's on me. It's on Tom Cheshire service.
It's on Tom
I,
Treasure.
I've seen all of these except for Madness,
Mm-hmm.
which would be a great checkbox right there.
Yeah.
And Body Snatchers, given.
Yeah.
That's not
Madness is to me
But
how,
I haven't seen Rhoda.
Madness is to me how I felt about Devo, and now I've seen him 3 times. But up until 4 years ago, I'd never seen Devo, and now I've seen him 3 times. in
I've
3
never
years,
seen
you know?
Devo, but I'm going
Madness
to
is up
next
there
spring.
with a band like
You too?
know.
Yeah, I'm going there.
What about
Yeah.
you?
We'll see.
For me, I've seen Band Matters twice. I've seen the Beat in various formations. I can't even count how many times. Never seen the Body Snatchers. Never
True.
seen Madness.
True.
Never seen Selector.
All right, Timo can go to hell
Wow.
because he's seen.
And
Yeah.
I've seen. So we went to San Francisco 5 years ago to see the specials with Terry Hall, and I saw the special Beat.
Yes.
You've
But-
seen the specials at Terry Hall, which is something I've never done. So there you
Yeah,
go.
we had to fly to
Yeah.
see that because they did not come here and play that.
Yeah, the only ones I haven't seen, Body Snatchers, and I haven't seen the Selector. I've seen somebody in another form
The
or
Selector
fashion.
is
Yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
played in Atlanta one time, and it was for this show for the Skavu V tour.
And I was
Right.
in Tennessee in
Which
'94.
is
So
which is
Yeah.
weird because they're still aren't they still? I
They're
know
still
I know
active,
I know a
but,
few
like-
years ago, Greg
I
and
mean,
I
they've
listened
done
to
shows
like,
with just her singing to a drum machine. They've
which
done,
would be awesome.
Which is great. Yeah.
Because about three or 4 years ago, Greg and I listened to we were listening to NPR and Pauline Black was
Yeah.
you know how they'll have
She's
different
great. She's
interviews.
got such a good speaking voice.
She's
I mean,
one of the
she's like-
greats.
I'm sorry.
She's
So
up there
beautiful.
Girl
with
Crush.
Yeah, Christy
she's
Hine,
up there
man.
with Christy Hine. She's up there with Ari Up. She's up there with
Big time.
Susie Sue.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're talking about
everything.
all these great ladies. Can I just make a shout out to one more band?
Yeah, for sure.
Rude Girl Review.
I've heard about them.
This is a
Supernova
band.
Ska Festival.
Yes, where I believe it was Jenny Whiskey and
Jenny Whiskey.
Jenny Whiskey.
Yes.
From, yes, you know Jenny.
Yeah.
And Lady Hatchet from the Scotch Bonnets after one of the Supernovas said, "Man, we need to start a girl band."
So
and
cool,
so the
man.
girl Tara, who I said hi to either this episode or on the last part of this episode, or the
part
last
A,
one of
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
Sure.
she's started the Scotch Chat, and she got on to them, got in touch with them.
30 girls, right?
And it ended up being somewhere around 30 girls from 11 different states.
Great.
Ended up having one practice and then one practice before the show, and a lot of the was also just
So
done
cool.
online, and they absolutely
I heard.
killed
And
it.
it's like school teachers and
Where
moms
was this?
just
Was this
this
also
was-
up
he-
in
he
like
just
the-
saw it before
and
me,
this
yeah.
was up, and this is in
Virginia.
DC or
No, Norfolk. Yeah,
Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get them to play more shows out.
They
but
should,
be
yeah.
on the lookout for Rudio Review. I mean, they
Rudio
are
Review.
they were amazing.
Well, that's awesome.
And it was
man.
everybody from all the different bands. I mean, if you're a woman and you're into ska,
You're joining.
you join,
Well,
and
no,
it
we
was
love it.
amazing.
All together.
Like ska's just so. I mean, it's just so. I mean, it's just such a.
It's inclusive.
It's inclusive.
It's
It's
positive.
positive.
It's a workout.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
energetic. It's uplifting.
I was
it's-
sweating last night.
So, I mean,
Dancing
especially
around. It's good,
especially
man.
talking about like two-tone and third wave. It's like way because you listen to
I'm-
you listen to like original Jamaican ska, and it's like very. I mean, it's more.
I remember
more chill.
going to those
Way
early
more chill.
when I first moved here from New York,
So it's, like,
and I
very
met you, and
energetic.
you took me to some of those early Toaster shows. They were so much fun. Like, oh my
Yeah, I used to go
goodness.
see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
we
much
lose our
fun.
minds at those.
Yeah,
shows.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
a letter.
Yeah, and the
read a
thing is,
letter.
it's so it's funny how I love when like life is like a tandem, bicycle or like, great minds. Like you're thinking about these things, and sometimes the universe is kind, and we accidentally manifest this stuff, and we get these letters that happen to be talking about someone like something great that Timo's talking about. You said 3 or 4 things today that we read this letter earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, Timo's answering these questions. So here you go, James.
Yeah. So, who's this from again?
Oh my gosh, Skank and Susie from Queens,
Yeah, Skank
Hi,
and
Susie.
Susie.
who I believe is trying to be in Rude Girl Review. So that's cool,
She's an X1.
Oh man, listen to what
So-
you're playing here.
Yeah. So I think what she says is, thank you for covering a ska like, Dance Craze is incredibly.
I think it's my favorite live
important
album, yes.
For
Yeah.
us, yeah, it's an incredible live album, and we've in our past we've gone through the third wave. There's the whole talk of a fourth wave.
And two-tone
what
would be a
that's come
second
from.
wave, but so
Yeah, so
what's,
you talk
what's
about
next? Yeah,
Jamaica's being first wave. They invented
England is
ska as what it is, and then two-tone took it and made it the second
I hate
wave.
to do this.
Third
No, you
wave
don't. You don't hate
became
it.
sort of like the 90s response to two-tone as it was
Yeah.
building, and then fourth wave has been sort of simmering for a long time, but
Well, that's
Fourth
the
wave
magic
has been
question.
simmering
Is
for-
it happening?
Yeah.
So look at, he just took a deep
Has
breath.
it- has
is
the
that
fourth
question?
wave-
So Timo, I have a feeling we might need
Hit
the
us.
third wave. We need a third episode because Timo just took a deep breath, like he has a lot to say.
Very
I want
good.
to say hello to James. Cheers.
thank you.
So
Cheers,
is the
guys.
question
Gentlemen.
Just the two of
is the
us.
question whether or not there's going to be a fourth wave, or whether or not
What does the fourth wave look like?
So what does it look
You
like?
don't
What
know.
does it look like? That's the
and we
question.
need to
What
we need to
does it
defer to
look
the
like?
expert.
This-
Here we go.
Matt's
I've-
having fun over there. That's all.
Matt, you okay?
I'm gonna say first of all that
Your breath you just took our producer out of his chair. Matt, are you okay? Oh my goodness.
I've got opinions on this, and
Yes.
I am not
Do
an
your
expert.
shot.
I just love the music that I love, and I've got my opinions. Somebody else may not agree with them, and that's perfect.
No, I need-
But you're
I
on
love your
here.
opinion.
You're on the show for your opinion. So
All right, so
Man, a
this
producer.
goes along with the whole thing, like I mentioned earlier about Fishbone's not a ska band, but obviously very influenced. On all the ska chats and all the ska groups, you have all the Street Light Manifesto ska.
You were talking
Is
about that
this
last night with me and
ska?
B-Kids,
Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. They're all influenced.
would
by
you
it.
really think that they are?
If you listen to them, they do not have a lot of that old the
tropes.
beats,
Well, they don't
that
have.
you
They don't have this.
Well, no,
Right.
ska is really always like what the emphasis on the third beat.
What's this guitar
Is it the
riff?
third or fourth
it's,
beat?
It's
Like,
the
really?
guitar
No,
riff.
It's all offbeat, but yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
That's-
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for then
You
the punk bands taking it over,
Operation
and making
Ivy,
ska punk,
goodness
all
gracious,
those,
yeah.
doing that here, you would not have them. So even though I don't
Yeah.
consider them, I don't consider Fishbone a ska band, it's because of ska I listen to them,
Yeah.
and they are enjoyable music.
Wonderful.
And I think everybody talks about this fourth wave. I don't think you can have a fourth wave unless something really miraculous and crazy happens, because it's all still just we're adding this to it now. We're
Right.
adding this to it. We're maybe take
You're
this
like
out and
making
add
new
this.
genres, really.
Right. The reason we call it and there's different ideas that I've heard from different people about it shouldn't be waves, it should be this or that, which is fine. Waves just
Love
make
you,
it
buddy.
easy. It's because of where it started,
Yes.
where it got picked up in England and got into the working class,
Yep.
and then where it got picked up in America. That's
true.
what
And
you
they're
got
all-
the
and
It
they're
really
all
doesn't
very-
make sense. It doesn't make sense to have a
what,
fourth
maybe?
wave. You're
If you
absolutely
want
right.
to say fourth wave, and this is the first time, just boom, I just thought about this. Maybe we're looking at Mexico, South America, where their scenes are booming
Sure.
now, and maybe that's the fourth wave that it brought it to them, and now
You know,
they're
but I
taking
don't
it.
know about that because those scenes, actually, they really embrace. They had a scene for two-tone, and they've had a scene for third wave.
no,
so
you're
I
right.
I
don't
always
know
love
that.
that.
would be new
Honestly, I always love
for
that
them.
ska has always been very international as
Yeah.
well.
Big time.
Because
Yeah.
I always think like the Germans did,
You know.
did
Oh,
ska
man.
amazingly with the scandal comps and all of the,
The
all of
Busters.
that.
To this day.
Yes.
Busted.
Dr. Ring, he couldn't make it to Supernova, had visa trouble.
love Dr.
Oh my
Ring.
God.
Yeah.
Latin America does
Hi,
ska
Doctor.
amazing.
Dr. Ringman's
That's what I
awesome.
always loved about ska was that it wasn't really an American type of. It
So-
was very international type of music.
So
That's
what-
what I always liked.
What I think you're saying. So
excitement.
first wave is Jamaica, second wave is England, third wave is New York and America. You're absolutely right. There wouldn't be any
And
fourth
I
wave.
don't
There wouldn't
think.
I wouldn't say, because you could say it happened in New York and it happened in California around the same time.
I
It
just-
even happened in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
did.
You still
I
had
think, I think the
ME330
thing
pop
with
out
like,
of
I think the thing with
It's pre-internet.
fourth
No, you're right.
Jen
wave
Fox,
is just like
here we go.
it's
That's-
not just about like. I think the word or the phrase third wave is kind of misleading because it's almost like, oh well, it's the third wave of ska, like it's a third whatever, but it has a different sound than two-tone, and it has a different sound than old Jamaican ska,
It
although they're
evolves.
all very
It evolves all
connected.
the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unless it's going to evolve to be something like related but also different,
I think-
then
I
it
think-
really
Here's one
can't
other
be.
problem I think you've got with third wave. With third wave, you've got ska core and ska punk. You still have some like
Do you really consider that third wave?
I don't consider Hepcat two-tone, although they play that type of style. They came in the third wave with
That's a
that
good point.
type.
Yeah.
Sure.
Love
And
that. Yeah.
so you've got all that already went in so many branches.
Yep.
And I think the other thing that happened with
point.
third wave is that's when the world opened up technologically. We could all talk to one another and share this stuff without like,
Sure.
here, borrow this cassette,
Yeah.
go listen to it.
Yep.
And so it was easier to listen to all the bands from everywhere.
Yeah, and then you hear like Lost Cadillacs and like there's all these South American bands that are doing it, and you're like, what? I mean, I think that you're right. The stuff that's gone international has just made it grow and be bigger, But I don't think you're going to have another title of what it is next.
Right.
I think it's
always
just music.
evolving.
It's just
I
music.
well,
Yeah.
I think
Always evolving.
think
finish
going
that
forward,
on
it's just
that.
going to really be like bands that are ska influenced,
Sure.
like which I would say like
Los
about
Fabulous-
like Mighty
Los
Mighty
Fabulous-
Bosstones
Los Fabulous
and like No
Cadillacs,
Doubt
I
and stuff
think
like
they
that.
would,
It's like I don't consider them ska. I consider them more like
See, and I call them
Ska
ska
influence.
because I'm looking at it from a third. I mean, that's how I got into it. Third wave, and
Yeah,
I had
sure.
to go backtrack to figure out what original ska
I-
was.
I used
You've
to
seen
see.
them. They're a special part of your adolescence.
Well,
You've
I
seen them
used
hundreds
to
of times.
see.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to see No Doubt open for like third wave ska bands back in like 90, 91.
That's the other thing I like about No Doubt, and a lot of other bands that I've chatted with over the years. That you can hear the
Yeah.
and then they evolve a little bit and they're like, we're not ska, and they completely
I
veer away
know,
from that.
but that's why I don't like that. But that's why that's what irritates me about them. It's like the people that actually really like them. I wish they gave a little bit of props to
Well,
their.
one artist I want to give a shout out to, because a lot of people do, they get embarrassed by the ska thing. It's like, oh, it's embarrassing, it's geeky, it's nerdy. I want to give a shout out to Jeff
It's
Rosenstock.
cool. I don't care.
Jeff Rosenstock does not give
King.
an F. He's like, you know what? I'm going to play this, it's not ska. Oh, I'm going to make a ska album because you know what? It's fun and I can do it and I like it. And so props to him for just having the balls to actually say, you know what? This is still good music. So
It's good.
don't call it ridiculous.
Man,
No.
listen, this has been a wonderful ride, man.
Yeah.
We got guys
been a
falling out.
wild
We got
ride,
guys
jeez.
falling out of their seats.
Sorry about that,
I want to
man.
thank Casey and Allie again. Casa Yarbrough.
Thank you.
Speed humps and speed bumps. I'm just reading the street signs out there, guys. And Timo. I don't know.
You're just reading a teleprompter.
Anything else you want to say?
Man, it has been a wild ride.
It's been a wild ride. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you could join us. Thank you for doing what you do with your students.
Of course.
Man,
Don't forget to check out my radio show.
That's
Thursday
the other
nights.
Well, we will
Garage
put the info
71.
on.
Most
we'll
importantly,
put the info out.
there you
yes.
Yeah.
I've been a guest on his show before. You got to check out his playlist, Cassie. You'd love him.
I probably will.
I'm actually finally starting to catalog all of my old shows. I've got back through 2018 done, and I'm just trying to get them all where everybody can access them.
Do you
Great.
just play Third Wave, or do you play some?
I play all of it and then some that's completely not.
Oh,
ska.
no, yeah,
I've played the
a lot
Muppets on my show before.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
whatever
just
I
saying,
feel like.
I'm going to put this out there for anybody. Like, Desmond Decker is the way to my heart. I
Yep.
just want everybody
I've
to know
played Desmond
this.
Decker before.
Yeah. No, I mean, basically, they have a great show, and they have a great fan base, which is, he's on a lot of chats, especially, you actually probably thrived during the pandemic because you met new fans that you never met in person.
Right.
So they have these chat boards, and people make suggestions, oh, check out this new band, whatever, and he plays them. But also, it's just good conversation, and it's throwbacks to old stuff, and also the future, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
We need to wrap it up, but I definitely do want to say
301s,
thank. But Timo, like coming.
Timo!
Like-
Thank you.
I'll cheer with
Thank
water,
you.
that's fine.
Matt,
Cheers.
love you. Greg, thanks. Casey, Allie.
Appreciate it.
Emma
Cheers,
and
everybody.
Lucy.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Of course, if you guys pick any album that happens to be anywhere Third Wave or even I'm coming back. Just
Yeah.
invite me back. I'll
You
be
got
there.
it.
Okay.
Oh, you got
All
it. You were a great guest.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
it.
Cheers.
Woo!